Hey everyone, this is Matt with Learn Everything About Design, and in today's video we're going to try to answer some of the questions that came out about the Revopoint Pop 4 3D scanner. So today we released a video on this. This is in a Kickstarter campaign right now. So again, full disclosure, we are an affiliate. What that means is if you buy something with our affiliate link and our discount code, we will get a little bit of money. But during the Kickstarter campaign, the affiliate link discounts, none of that stuff works. This is the best time to buy just because it's going to be as cheap as a scanner is ever going to be in terms of the price. All the software, everything is going to get better. The hardware, the firmware, those will all get better and improve over time. But this is generally the best time to get in and buy if this is a scanner that fits your needs. And all the questions that I got, several of them were about scanning big objects. So let's talk a little bit about some of the functionality of the scanner, how it works, some of the pros, cons, or restrictions, things you can do. So out of all the modes that we have, we've got a full field NIR mode, we've got laser, which is cross-line in a single line, we've got a VCSEL mode, and then we've got a hybrid mode. Now the full field mode, or the near infrared structured scan mode, and the laser scan modes will support marker tracking. So marker dots or global marker files, both of those will work. The VCSEL mode and the hybrid mode are feature tracking only. So this is an important thing to consider because as you're scanning larger objects, you'll gravitate more toward the VCSEL mode because you can be further away. You're going to get less accurate scans, so it's like 0.2 millimeters if you're as far away as you can be and still in the good range. And you're not going to be able to use markers. What you can do is, like I did on the car here, is take things like little pieces of clay, little pieces of tape, stick them on the object and create unique features that you can then pull out later. So that's something that we've done on the channel for all different types of scans. If you've got a part on a turntable or a rotary table, especially if it's like a turbo, for example, as it rotates around, it may lose tracking and spin. Putting little objects like crumpled paper, tape, bolts, little blocks, things like that, gives it just some extra pieces of data to help with alignment. Another thing to consider is going to be how you use this. So the scanner does have a battery handle. It is claimed to be 4 hours of continuous scanning with this. While I don't doubt that's possible, the amount of RAM that you would have or the amount of memory that you would use up scanning for that long, this is not going to be the limitation for you. The next thing that I want to mention here is going to be data, memory, the size of your scan files. The VCSEL mode or splattering mode, whatever you want to call it, puts out a ton of points to the point where if I'm scanning, let's just say the pop-up headlight on this car, if I scan it with the laser mode, if I scan it with the full field mode, and I scan it with the VCSEL mode, the VCSEL file is going to be bigger. Now it tends to capture more points. Obviously you can pare that down, but the longer you scan with it, the bigger those files are going to get. And I'm talking about half a gig versus 2 gigs. And so it can get pretty big, especially if you're scanning larger objects. So that's something to keep in mind as a technical limitation because you can run out of RAM and memory pretty quickly if you're trying to scan. One of the comments was about doing a van conversion. So if you're trying to scan the inside of a van and you're using VCSEL mode, then that file can get pretty large pretty quick. You're likely going to have to scan it in several different frames, offload that somewhere else, free up the RAM, free up the memory, and then continue to scan. And this is why when you see like the suggested PC specs, they're generally 32 gigs or more. You can run out of that pretty quickly. And so that's just something to keep in mind. This is also a limitation when you look at the Morocco scanners. The Plus version has double the RAM as the base Morocco, and you can capture double the frames. So each time we start to capture bigger and bigger files using something like the VCSEL mode, that's a technical limitation we need to be aware of. Now, in terms of can we scan bigger things with this? Yes, you can. I've got some emails between somebody that scanned an entire bumper with an Inspire 2. Not something I would do because something like a Morocco is just a better choice, but if you have an Inspire 2 or if you have a Pop 4, then yes, you certainly can do it. I would say that it's much easier to do in VCSEL mode, but again, the limitation is you don't have marker dots. The good news about the scanner is that you have options. So in full field mode, which is the near infrared, you can use marker dots, global marker file, and you can get the accuracy of 0.08 millimeters, which is going to be better than the 0.2 that you get with the VCSEL mode. So you've got options. If you want to put marker dots on a vehicle, on bumper or whatever, you can use that with the laser scanning or the NIR mode or full field, whatever you want to call it, and capture a pretty good resolution. What I'll put on the screen is I scanned this pop-up with the laser scanning, I scanned it with full field mode, and I scanned it with the VCSEL mode. I also scanned several parts of the car, engine bay, stuff like that. And what I found again is the VCSEL mode is capable of it. It's possible. It really comes down to having features for tracking and also the technical limitations of the file size. The longer you scan something, if you're trying to get an entire engine bay, the bigger that file is going to get, and it's just going to grow quicker and quicker and quicker. So these are technical limitations that you just need to be aware of. I don't know if I've answered all the questions. I've tried to. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday and I'm checking out, but if there are any other questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I know during the Kickstarter campaigns, this is the best time to buy. It's going to save you the most amount of money. It's always tricky anytime there's a Kickstarter campaign because these are not publicly released yet, which means they're still in development. Firmware is being updated, software is being updated, and so on. What I will say is that I was impressed with the laser scanning ability of this scanner right out of the box. VCSEL mode for me is probably not a mode that I would use, again, because I have a Morocco Plus. That's the scanner I would go to for scanning larger objects. If you are doing the splattering, the 3D Gaussian splattering, then that may be an option that is good for you. If this is the only scanner you have or the only scanner that you can get, it can work, but just keep in mind, the further you are away, the bigger objects you create, the further the accuracy is going to be larger. So 0.2 millimeters versus 0.08 or 0.03 or whatever. So that's just something to keep in mind. Quantitating that is tricky. In the last video, I did share a file where I had this drill scanned with all 3 modes, and you can see the difference in there. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video if you want to see it. That's a pretty good tell because you can look at things like the detail and the grip, the crispness around the sort of adjuster area. These are all things that get pulled out really well with the laser scanner, and they kind of disappear with the VCSEL mode. So just something to keep in mind. Any other questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.